Welcome to Stump the Idiot. This is our comments slash Q&A slash whatever, just trying to catch up on comments and questions. But before we do that, I just want to have a G1 contest. I know I bash TNA and WWE probably more than this new generation of sensitive fans want, but at the same time, I have to be honest. But there is a saying, don't, what, I'm going to paraphrase the saying because I'll probably screw it up. Don't bash what you hate, promote what you love. And I got way behind. The G1 started. I think day 2 is actually going on today. So, with that said, I'm going to have a G1 prediction contest. And I don't know, a lot of YouTubers have prizes and stuff and try to buy fans. I don't want that. But I kind of also want people that are like, hey, you know what? I'm going to predict someone, and maybe I'll check out some G1 action. Because I think New Japan Pro Wrestling is the best wrestling in the world, and you should definitely check it out. Well, what I got here is they're just $1. It's like 100 yen. But it's New Japan popcorn. It's popcorn, butter, and soy sauce taste. It's not really that cool. Look, it's got Okada. I'm not looking at the camera. Okada, Tanahashi, and a bunch of the guys, so it's really cool. But the best part about this popcorn is it comes with a card. So you open it up, and you can get maybe one of your favorite New Japan guys. I'll make it where you make a G1 prediction down in the comments. We'll give you two when I do a SmackDown review. So there might be 2 or 3 shows in the bag already. I wish I did this earlier. I would have broke down G1. So just put down who you think's going to win. I'll put a list of the guys and links to where you might be able to watch it if you can. Or you can just go to Justin TV or wherever the hell it is. I don't think it's on Justin TV, but it's very expensive in the States. And also, just put it down. I'll put, just put down a pick. I'll give away like 3 or 5 bags. I'll just say 3 bags. 3 bags, because shipping's still a bitch. I'll give away 3 bags. And then if there's more, like, my prediction, I think, without a doubt, is Okada. And I'll explain a little bit why later. But anything could happen in the G1. There's so many upsets in the G1, and that's what makes the G1 so exciting. But I'll tell you why in a little bit with Okada. But you put your prediction down below, and let's say there's 12 people that pick Okada, and Okada does win, or someone else. We'll put those names in a hat and pull them out, and then 3 guys will win, and then we'll just ask you for your address and send it to you. So a lot of fans have been asking me to get them this popcorn because it comes with a card, so hopefully that will help you. And maybe, a lot of people ask me, like, oh, how do you like sumo wrestling? How do you get into it? And I'm no sumo expert, I assure you. There's a lot of great YouTubers here that cover sumo. And even some of my friends on Facebook know sumo better than me. But they always ask, how do you get into a new sport or a new company? A lot of times it's just picking your favorite athlete. Like, how I got into sumo was Akebono was from Hawaii. And I was like, dude, you know what? I love Akebono. I'm just going to follow Akebono. And then once you start following one athlete, you start catching on to the sport, and then you slowly but surely have fun watching and watching the sport. So that's what I'm hoping happens with the G1. I hope there's pro wrestling fans, maybe a little tired of WWE, TNA, the American product, and they want to check it out. I know there might be English commentary out there. I couldn't find English commentary, but to me, it's about the in-ring product. And if you have any questions, please just ask them. And like I said, I am not a New Japan, Japanese expert, just a fan. So, but I'm hoping you pick one guy, you follow that one guy, you win some popcorn, and you're like, you know what, Dave? New Japan is freaking awesome. Do more reviews, and we'll give you thousands of dollars. I think that's how YouTube works, right? You fall in love with New Japan, I do New Japan reviews, and then YouTube's like, here's $1 billion. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm not sure. I have to do some more research on that, but no. Hopefully you have fun. Now, the reason I think Okada is going to win is last year they had a huge upset, and the fans, they didn't boom like John Cena, but they didn't want him in the main event, and they didn't want him fighting Okada, and it was kind of drama. And, a lot of times G1 is to build new people, to make huge upsets and all that. And I think the reason why they're going to go with Okada is because last year there was controversy because the winner of the G1 gets to basically main event Wrestle Kingdom. It's not always been that way, but it's kind of been that way, I guess. I don't know if there's an official rule, but it feels like it's an official rule. And I think Okada has been booked horribly. He finally got a win over AJ Styles. This is non-title in G1, day one, and I think Okada needs to win this to be rebuilt. I thought he was booked horribly on the American stage in Ring of Honor. I thought it was booked horribly back in Yokohama. I just do not like where Okada went, and I honestly think Okada is the future of pro wrestling. So young, so good, so amazing, and I think this is the year that they're like, you know what, we're not going to try to rebuild someone. We're just going to prove how great Okada is. I mean, there's pure money in it. And if you believe Japanese blogs, the problem, Japanese blogs and internet, the problem is they cover it like kind of like PWI did in the magazine days. It's a bit kayfabe, a bit more of everything's a sport. So a lot of times when I say, oh, this is on the Japanese blogs, remember that a lot of the Japanese blogs still live in kayfabe worlds. And it's not like WWE's New Japan's trying to trick them. They just want to live in that world. They want it to be real. So what they're saying is that, you know, that Okada's probably going to win, and that Okada was very upset last year's G1, and he's being booked horribly. So my favorite to win this is Okada. But I'm not in the running for this because my fat ass can go get it for 100 yen. And maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I see YouTubers and they have prizes. I got 2 questions for the internet infantry. I didn't really advertise this show because I'm an idiot and don't have much time. So, but, yeah. So, sorry about that. Just checking a message. I got ADD. But 2 questions for you. One, do you think it would be cool to have prizes because I live in Japan and not everyone has access to that? Or do you think that's kind of like buying people out and selling out? And I can get better prizes in the future. And 2, I'm going to probably switch to a graphic and do audio, but I've got a couple people in the back that are like, oh, that's kind of like mailing it in. I'm like, dude, I'm going to do about a 1-hour show answering your questions, and pretty much it's going to be me squinting. And I imagine people that listen past the first 10 minutes, they probably put their thinking like, I'm gone, I don't give a shit, are going to be like, I'm not watching this, I'm just listening to it. I got a face for radio, and I'm from radio, so I don't see the big difference. But I've had a couple people be like, oh, if we can't see you, it's like mailing it in on YouTube. So I have no idea. So if you could put that in the comments, I know I didn't advertise this show that much because I'm a fucking idiot, but if you could put in the comments for viewers, does it really matter if you could see me? Because usually I like to just bam, 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 audio, bam, I'm done. With that said, I'm going to start answering some questions, and you're not going to be able to see me all in my ugliness squinting at a screen. All right, bam, bam, bam. Look at that. That's a nice graph. Wouldn't you rather just stare at that? All right, here we go. Bam, bam, bam. All right, so the big question, the title question here is something that really grinds my fucking gears, and I just thought I'd get it out of the way. I was asked it 8 million different ways, but I do it. There's this thing that's like, internet, riot, blah, 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 blah. You fucking you're internet fans. No matter what WWE does, you come back from Monday Night Raw. I don't understand where there's the blind defense of fucking killing WWE. Like, there's always there's these hypocrites out there that's like, oh, don't steal the fucking content. Oh, you tricked me on YouTube with your thumbnail. Oh, wait, well, if I tricked you on YouTube, you were looking for illegal content. And then also another thing is that the old, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch. Oh, you know, the whole, what's the phrase here? Like, you complain about how bad WWE is, but you come back next Raw. And yeah, there is a small fraction of fans that are loyal no matter what, but those are what I would call good people. They're loyal fans. They're not Lakers, Heat, Yankees fan all in one. You know, you ever meet that one fucking friend? He's like, I'm a Yankees fan and a Heat fan. And the first thing you think of is, I hope you fucking die in a car fire. Now, if you're an all New York team fan, an all Miami fan, I understand. But if your team doesn't have a local team, I understand. Or if you just like underdogs. But if you're like, I like all the championship teams, then yeah, you're a fucking bad person. You're a bad fan. I don't know if I can say it any different. But this whole, oh, people complain and they come back to Raw. Just Do you fucking not live in a world of statistics? Do you just fucking blindly defend WWE? Are you just like, fuck yeah, everyone's saying it, it must be true? Do you know what the ratings were during the Monday Night Wars? Do you know what the ratings were after the Monday Night Wars? Do you know what the ratings are today? I don't understand how you can confidently pound your chest and be like, it doesn't matter how bad the WWE is. They're always going to come back. Oh, man, I missed the Attitude Era in the Monday Night Wars. That's what everyone watched. Do you ever just listen to yourself talk? I call myself an idiot, but you're going around pretending you're an expert. Stop. Just stop. And then on top of that, you're like, 1 second you're like, oh my god, no one's buying the network. Fucking WWE is going to go under. And then the next you're like, fans will always come back and pay and support WWE. It's just, no, stop. If we can work, there's one thing. There's a couple things on my list. One, don't compare Somalia to libertarianism. Don't say that, hey, you should pay for all WWE, and they get mad at YouTube for having thumbnails while you're looking for illegal content. And don't say fans will always come back, no matter how shitty the product is. That's just fucking crazy. It's bizarre. It's wacko land. If we can all just agree, if the internet could all stand up and agree that, you know what, maybe people are not coming back. I just find it to be, I'm older and I know how popular wrestling used to be. If you're younger and you're making this mistake, hey, I understand. Listen, it's just not true. But I see fuckers that are older than me making that fucking point. Are you out of your fucking mind? COO, a YouTube user, always puts in the ratings. I don't know if he watches the show, but I know he always puts in the ratings in the comments and really appreciate it. I know for some reason YouTube considers that spam. I think you're adding information to every review out there, so fucking YouTube, get your shit together. But if CEO actually listens to these shows, I would like him to, in the comments, compare what the ratings were during the Attitude Era to now. Like how high the ratings were. And then don't go around, well, people don't like WWE, they're gonna come back. Yeah, I don't like the fact that my wife isn't as young as when I first married her. But I'm not a horrible person. I like the fact that I like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays from day one. You know, it was great when they went to the World Series. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what's more disappointing. The fact that you're so disloyal. I don't know, because you're so disloyal, but you're also blindly loyal to number one. It's just, do you feel like you're number one if you defend number one? I don't understand it. But the whole, oh, no one grinds my gears, you know, that stupid meme. Oh, I know what grinds my gears. People complain online, and they always watch Monday Night Raw. Really? What happened to 5.0 ratings? Just gone. Gone. And I'm not saying 5.0, that's where they maxed out at. No, I'm saying add another 5.0. Where did those people go? Oh, they always came back? Go. Please, explain to me. I just don't understand the logic behind it. And the funny thing is, the same people that say that are like, I can't believe the network has failed. It's going out of business. Yeah, well, maybe if you stop fucking saying, the fucking fans are stupid, they always come back, and actually put on a product where they do come back, that would be wonderful for all of us. That would be wonderful for all of us. Alright, so there you go. Bam, bam, bam. There's the title question. Now let's go into some comments. You can leave some live comments. Bam, let's go. Live comment. Shit, there's live Q&A? Sitting like, yeah, I didn't even advertise it. I'm such a fucking jackass. I was such in a hurry. I gotta get this over at noon. When will you invite Rob to do more Q&As? Rob, I'll invite you anytime. Don't be a bitch. Don't be scared, homie. Actually, let's see. Should I advertise it now? Bam, let's see. Bam. Bam. Fuck it. I'm too lazy. This is ruining the show. Alright, Malik Douglas says. Alright, he left this on a discussion. Malik Douglas says, this guy that has a podcast like yours, he actually, on TNA Gut Check one time, said that people should only be able to say what they want the company to do if they buy the network and buy the merch and etc. That, I love this point, because I was an 03 in the infantry. I don't think if that is your attitude, don't ever mention anything about war again. Because I could just be like, hey, did you serve in the infantry? Were you a machine gunner? Now, if Gunner from TNA is writing this comment, then I don't have a point. But do you think Transformers and what's that fucking vampire movie with the sparkles? Shit, it was so bad. I had to watch it because I lost a bet. I don't know, but do you think every movie's great? Do you think... I find it to be bullshit. I find it, like, I feel like... I wish there was a class on social media for pro wrestlers. Because pro wrestlers would rather feel important and insult fans than actually promote. Let me see if I can find it. Bam, bam. Give me a second. I actually did a whole show on this, but I even had a friend who is there. Hold on. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, you get this all the time because he really just wants to feel important about himself, and that's a big thing. Everyone wants to be in the business. Everyone wants to do this shit. But basically, WWE looks at your social media. So fucking bashing WWE is stupid. But also, if you're on the indies, bashing fucking pro wrestling fans is fucking dumb. It is fucking dumb. The only people that like stuff like that is younger fans that dream that they can be experts or in the business. The problem with pro wrestling is, and I'm dead serious, it's dirty to be just a fan. No, that's really the problem. Think about it. What do all your indie wrestlers call you? Marks and smarks. What do so-called experts call you? IWC. You know what? What happened to me just being a fan? I've wrestled one match, which was pathetically bad because I broke my fucking thing. I've refereed. I've ring announced. I've booked more shows than probably anyone on YouTube. I've promoted more shows probably anyone than on YouTube. I've probably booked better, drew better numbers than most TNA house shows. I probably could say all TNA house shows, but it depends how you compare. We want to be factual. And yeah, so I don't fucking go around bragging about that shit because it's okay to be a passionate fan. The reality is, he just wants to feel important about himself and not have an opening conversation. And that's what's wrong with pro wrestling. That is what's wrong with pro wrestling. The so-called fans want to be in the business so bad that they'll use insider terminology and then argue about it. Like, I love Wrestling Ranting, but he's like, this is what buried means. And there's another guy, the UK Fist guy, and he's like, this is what working means. Dude, when you're behind the curtains, there's no definite fucking definition. There isn't. And that's why I hate using insider terms, because you'll get this fucking guy who'll be like, well, it fucking really means this, and they're not fucking carnies. No. Fucking when you're behind the scenes, you're like, hey, dude, can this guy work? He's not talking about fucking conning people out of money. He's saying, hey, what style does he work? And the same thing with buried. Buried is like the word racist. It means different things for different people. But the problem with pro wrestling right now, and that's why we changed our slogan, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Fans don't want to be fans. They want to be better than fans to make fun of fans. That's what the fuck they want. And it's weird because people in promotions, wrestling, fans, YouTubers are like this. And a younger generation wants that. And I'm like, why? Why do you want that? You know, and it's kind of like, you know, oh, if you don't fucking do it, if you don't buy the fucking merch, you have nothing to fucking say. Well, then, you better not. Unless you've served in the infantry, you better not have an opinion on war. Unless you've directed a blockbuster Hollywood movie, you better not. It is a fucking slippery slope. And the thing is, the reason why you make these arguments is because deep down inside, you're not happy with yourself, and you have to try to be better than someone. That's it. That's the real reason. He'll be like, oh, I'm a fucking inside. Here's the thing. You know, and everyone's like, oh, kayfabe, keeping the fucking business alive. No. The thing with kayfabe and keeping the business alive is keeping the business alive. You need people to go. Like, it's so weird. We had nothing but local talent, and we outdrew cards with AJ Styles. We outdrew cards with CM Punk on. We outdrew, and the reason why is we treated it like an entertainment company. The fans came in, we thanked them. We went. Just, it makes me so fucking angry that people in pro wrestling don't know how to treat a fan. It fucking burns my fucking ass, because you'll be like, I guarantee this motherfucker's wrestled like in 10 people, and he's like, fucking marks, fucking smarks. Here's the thing. You want me to fucking break down the fourth fucking wall? Do you really want to know who the only... Because, you know, fucking marks are this, and smarks are this, and... Well, a long time ago, marks were considered someone you ripped off their money to. They thought it was real, so you ripped off their money. Alright, the only people that are marks, by that definition, are indie wrestlers. Think about it. You're the ones that think fucking wrestling's still in the 70s. You go to a fan, they're like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun, fucking break it down. You're the one. Every indie promotion out there, besides, I don't know, I'll say that. 90% of indie promotions out there, you're like, wow, there's no one fucking here. How do they make money? Because when you look at them wrestle, you're like, they're not that good. I can do that. And then a trainer comes up to you and says, well, you can become a pro wrestler and wrestle in front of these 16 people too if you just pay me blah, 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 blah for the fucking school. So the reality is the only way an indie promotion really makes money, especially ones that don't promote, is tricking marks that want to be in the business. So the indie wrestlers are really, this guy is really the real mark. Because let me tell you, yeah, a fan, let's say you worked him and you fucking worked the mark. He's spending $10 to $20, $50 if he had a good time. You are not getting any of that $50, and you spent thousands. Yeah, that horse that's looking at you, he thinks you're an idiot. So yeah, it's just, that's the big problem with pro wrestling, and it's okay to be a passionate fan. It really is. As a matter of fact, I would rather have 1,000,000 marks than one fucking indie wrestler who thinks he's a fucking star. I guarantee. It's just, I can outdraw you with that. I just know. That's how you promote. It's how you do it. Matter of fact, I was thinking about just doing a podcast, and I think I will. I'm going to give you 100 ways how to build a better indie audience. 100 ways. But the funny thing is, guys like him, he won't listen because he's an expert. He knows everything. You know, it's so funny because the only marks left in the business are the ones trying to break in. It's the only ones you can make money off of. Think about it. To get an audience, you have to have $10 to $20, have a star. There's no money in fans for independent wrestling. The money comes with the mark who wants to bust in. So please keep using the words buried. Please be the experts, because that's what's keeping indie wrestling alive. Alright, so he said that people who chant CM Punk and complain online are marks. Of course, of course. Matter of fact, how much money, let's break this down. How much money did that mark, the mark, I'm using quotation marks, how much did that mark spend to chant CM Punk? Okay. He drove there. It's about, maybe, we'll guess, $20 in gas or $20 in travel. He got the tickets, which, knowing WWE, he probably got for free, but let's just assume he paid $50. So we're at $70. You go, you buy a t-shirt, you buy that. He paid $200, had a good time, chanted CM Punk. How much money did you make in your indie wrestling career? How much did your school cost? Who's the real fucking mark? Who's the real fucking mark? The indie wrestlers trying to get on WWE's good side is getting old at this point. Yeah, I don't think. See, the thing is, I wish there's a class. Maybe I should teach a class on how to do social media for wrestling. You can not insult WWE to ruin your chances, and still not call everyone a mark and a smark. There really should be, like, promoters who can't even fucking promote should be teaching their pro wrestlers how to use social media. But they don't even know how to use social media. Please, if you're a pro wrestler, read jab, 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 right hook. Read it. Read it and fucking study it. Learn how to use social media the right way. Yeah, just these the indie wrestlers, the problem is they are the biggest marks and they have to protect their so-called investment in their business. Meanwhile, they're actually hurting it. You know, it's funny because, like, you know, I could talk about this all day, but anyway, let's move on. If WWE is an entertainment company, they should be able to be held to the same standards as any other company. Of course! Of course! You should go out there. Think about it. I'm writing a book right now. I'm actually in the middle of writing 3 or 4 books, but writing a book is a lot harder than I thought it was. But I'm hoping to have 3, maybe 2 books out by December. If I hand you my book and you say it sucks, how fucking stupid would I be if I said, well, you never wrote a book? That would be retarded. And you are very special. Good job, indie wrestler. You're special. How many people have you wrestled in front of? Well, how much money did you make? I just get fucking tired of it. And here's the fucked up part. These marks on YouTube, even the fucking smallest marks on YouTube are making more money than you. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. A guy yelling at his webcam, answering questions, is making more money than you. Maybe you should change your strategy. So, there you go. Malik, and I'd love to invite these guys on. I threw a lot of people under the bus. No indie wrestlers answered. No indie wrestlers answered because it's a no fucking lose situation. You would have to, if I could defend it, you would have to explain how much money you've made. You'd have to, and not only that, but once you start making money, like in AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, that you fucking start realizing how social media works. You know, it's so funny because the guys that get booked everywhere, Hurricane Helms, all these guys that get hooked everywhere know how social media works. The guys that are like, fuck these fucking marks, they're fucking retarded. You don't see them being booked everywhere. Watch Twitter. See the guys that get booked everywhere and see the guys who just complain. Go. Do it. You got homework. All right, next question. That was a little long, and I was hoping to get this done by noon, my time. Do you guys think WWE will ever run out of business the way they are losing money? Anyone can run out of business, but the thing is, when you're that big, it's going to be long and painful. I don't picture it happening overnight. I mean, WCW basically happened overnight, but that's just because AOL was so huge and WCW was so small compared to how big AOL was. But I think WWE, they're not successful at anything else. They fail at everything else they've ever done. They're geniuses, right? Right, indie wrestler? They're geniuses. But with that said, if they do go out of business, it would be the most long, painful process in the world. And I think Triple H and Vince McMahon, when the shit hits the fan, they will do what's right. I would love to have it where they do what's right when they have the monopoly and it's number one, but I don't know if that's going to happen. There is a lot of positive internet vibes towards Triple H. Triple H takes a lot of credit for NXT, which a lot of fans like. But who knows? Maybe when Triple H takes over, the product will be good. And because I always said this, WWE is great at everything they do except creative and wrestling. So basically, they're great at everything they do except what they actually do. And I don't mean that as an insult. They're probably one of the best people at social media. They're probably, and you ever notice when they do something stupid on social media, they delete it? They don't fucking let it ride for 12 fucking years? Do you notice fucking when someone's like, I'm gonna fucking tell the fans to fuck off? WWE's like, no, that's stupid, Ryback. You shouldn't do that. Delete your comments. Stay away from Twitter. You fucking jackass. So yeah, I think if they ever do run out of business, it will be very long and painful. Because even a lot of people are like, oh, WCW went out of business overnight. And it's somewhat true, but it's also, building up to that was long and painful. So I don't see WWE ever going out of business, but I do see them getting smacked in the face with reality and putting on a good product. I think SummerSlam's going to be good. I think the build-up to SummerSlam's going to be good. And I think in September, they're going to give us everything we've ever wanted. They're going to be like, hand jobs for everybody. Fucking CM Punk is back. I'm being sarcastic here. They're not really going to give you a hand job, and CM Punk most likely will not come back. You know, I remember being in radio and television. You could use sarcasm without being like, hey, you know what? I think people are going to understand sarcasm. I'm not saying people on YouTube scare me, but sometimes I feel like as soon as I start going into sarcasm land, I'm like, well, I really have to explain that I'm being sarcastic, or fucking the experts are going to be like, you fucking said this! Alright, let's go on. The Twitter question. We got to start using Twitter better. I know I'm bashing other people, but I got to start using social media better. It's so funny because I make a lot of money helping other companies use social media, and then I'm like tell people how to use social media, and then I don't perfect it. So I have to perfect the social media. But social media is kind of like anything else in life. You have to perfect it. It's like writing and working out. You got to get better and better at it. I could be a lot better at the Twitters, to be honest. Angel at K1LLAK191N. All right. Thank you for the question. Sorry that I totally slaughtered your name. Kevin Steen, isn't he the ROH John Cena like AJ Styles is the TNA John Cena? And I'm taking when you compare Steen and AJ Styles to John Cena, you're talking about star quality and not matches. Maybe for this generation, maybe Kevin Steen is the biggest star, but, you know, going back, you have the Punk, Samoa Joe, there's so many. I wouldn't put Kevin Steen as, you know, the be-all, end-all of Ring of Honor, but as far as is he the biggest star right now, I'm the Great Gatsby of TNA and Ring of Honor. I miss their glory days. I think he is the biggest star, but with that said, I'm not exactly the biggest ROH fan. I support it, I like it, I enjoy it, but I'm pretty sure there's probably people that would be more qualified to answer it. But I think right now, my personal opinion, yeah, he's the biggest star the company has right now, and he's walking away. And the thing is, Ring of Honor is always going to have this problem. They just have to try to rebuild. I have to soften up my stance on Ring of Honor because every time there's a great athlete, he's going to be stolen by TNA or WWE, and I just have to understand that. You know, it happened at ECW. It happens with most developmentals. I'm not saying Ring of Honor's developmental, but they're so small, they're just going to get cherry-picked all the time. So I maybe have to lean back on my criticism of Ring of Honor a little bit, just because, hey, every time they build a star, they have to rebuild it. It's kind of like being a Ring of Honor fan is like being a Devil Race fan. You're like, fuck yeah, this player is awesome, and he's gone. Fuck yeah, this player is awesome, and he's gone. So, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays of Ring of Honor. So, of wrestling is Ring of Honor. There you go. I think he's the biggest star right now. I'm a huge fan of Roderick Strong, but I don't think they're booking Roderick Strong to be a star. BGC Fan 17 says, who do you think will be the top 3 guys in 5 years? This is a great, great question. Let's see, the top 3 guys in 5 years. This is a really tough question because when does Vince step down? When does Triple H go? How does the network go? Like, this 5 years ahead, it'll probably be a lot harder to predict than 5 years ago from now, or 5 years previously. Just because what's going to happen in the network? Is Vince going to step down? Is Triple H going to take over? Is Triple H as great as the internet hypes him up to be? So there's a lot of what-ifs. But, hey, I'm going to answer the question the best I can. I think it's going to be John Cena. I see him being a top guy for the next 10 years, and it's going to be grueling for everyone. I even think the people that defend John Cena in 10 years from now will be just as fucking hated as us. Hated towards him as us. I think John Cena will be a top guy. I think Roman Reigns will be a top guy. And maybe Sheamus. But a lot depends. I'm picturing Vince McMahon not stepping down for the next 5 years. I'm picturing the network somewhat succeeding. a lot's going to change, but I think those are the 3 top stars. I think Randy Orton's going to start taking a back seat. So, I don't know. There's probably a perverted gay joke in there somewhere about back seats, but I just don't have it in me today. Jason Rex says, I don't know why, but when people talk about wrestling and they don't know anything about its history, it really pisses me off. It really doesn't piss me off because they get to be passionate fans. What pisses me off, though, is when you explain something to them and how it's different, it doesn't change their mind. Like, I always said this, you enter a debate, and I know it's crazy because people don't fucking see it this way, but originally, debates, you entered not to win, but to learn. And I think a lot of people, especially the younger generation, they just don't want to be wrong. And I understand that. I mean, everyone used to be young and fucking, I want to be right and an expert about everything. You don't believe me? There's hundreds of YouTube channels. You go out there. But no, it doesn't really piss me off unless they don't want to learn. Like if I say, hey, you know what? This and this happened. And I hate like when you go and bash someone and they're like, yeah, but do you even know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is? And I'm like, dude, I'm 900 fucking years old. Of course I know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. I just wish people were more open to conversation. YouTube, the internet has really changed. Back in the day, and I'm trying to bring back old school YouTube, back in the day people had conversations. The person on the camera or the audio or the horse-looking guy wasn't an expert. He was just giving his opinion and going back and forth. But nowadays, thanks to Reddit, YouTube, and stuff, everyone acts like an expert, and they just get their niche, and if someone listens to something different, they go away. Like, I always argue with fans, and sometimes you'll be arguing over a point that really doesn't go anywhere. You know, like, I think pro wrestlers should not say, what are you going to do right? I just don't think they should do that. I don't think pro wrestlers should challenge fans. Now, if they get touched, I think they should beat the fucking living shit out of you. But with that said, I don't think you should be in the ring but like, I'll fight the fans. What are you going to do? Riot. But a younger fan will be like, hey, no, I love that as a fan. But, you know, you don't have to be angry. It's okay. You don't have to agree. Something happened on the internet where everyone had to be an expert and conversation changed. Dude, there's so many people that would be like, I don't like The Undertaker. Like, unsubscribe. I listened to you for 27 years for 900 fucking hours, but we disagree on this one thing. Peace, I'm out. And it's just like, dude, really? That's not what the internet's for. The internet's for bouncing ideas back and forth. It doesn't bother me that they're passionate fans and don't know about history. It bothers me when you go to teach them and they're like, fuck you, old man. And they're like, all right, you're on your own. Good luck. You know, it's kind of like the John Cena thing. Why do you hate John Cena? You're just like, dude, you're right. You know, like, they beat it out of you. You're like, you're right. And I understand. Your pro wrestling sucks. And everything. And not even pro wrestling. My parents' generation, when history is written worldwide, the baby boomers are the worst generation ever. Wait till history writes their book. Wait. Baby boomers are in trouble. My generation is the laziest. Your generation needs to fix everything, and we blame you for everything. So that's why you're like, what the fuck? Fuck you. This is my opinion. I'm going to stick by it, and everything is great. And I understand. I really do. I'm sorry we put you in that situation, but, you know, try to be better. You have to be better than us. You really do. And in wrestling, let's bring this down a little bit. In wrestling, you know, it's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to have an argument. Like, it's so weird. You know, like, I'd be like, I remember going to another YouTuber and be like, hey, man, you messed up this one thing. This happened. And he's like, I hope you fucking die. And you just sit there and you're like, okay, that escalated quickly. Like, I don't understand. And they're like, I'm on a webcam. I can never be wrong. And I call myself the idiot. All right, let's see. Bam. Bam. Let's see. Oh, we got some live comments. Bam, bam, bam. What's the vampire movie with the sparkles? Dave pretending he doesn't love Twilight. Thank you. I love referencing Twilight, and I watched Twilight. It's bad. Like, like I can watch women's shows. There's some really good women's movies out there. I can watch anything as long as the story's good. You know, as long as the story is good. Twilight, the story's just not good. It's bad. It's really bad. Serious question. I see it come up a lot, Dave. Why do you hate your son-in-law, John Cena? Fuck you, Rob. I hate CM Punk chants for a reason. Disrespectful to performers in the ring. Don't fault them. Seriously, AJ Lee doesn't deserve to have CM Punk chant her entire match. All right. Well, Boom Boom and Rob want to join in, so I'm gonna send them links, and then I'm gonna go through live comments while I do that. Let's see. Bam. Send one to Rob. Send one to Boom Boom, and hopefully they'll be quiet. I hate to see a Punk chance for a few reasons. Disrespect to the performers in the ring. Don't fault them. Seriously, AJ Lee doesn't deserve to have CM Punk chanted at her entire match. I agree and disagree. A lot of people only chant CM Punk because they want him to return, and there is a possibility. But I think a long time ago I said the best thing if WrestleMania sucks to do is chant TNA. But no one's going to chant TNA because most people don't know what it is and most people don't like it. But CM Punk represents everything a lot of fans want, and he represents a lot of things fans say. So a lot of times people are not also chanting CM Punk. They're not chanting CM Punk for his return. They're chanting because that's what they want. That's what they believe in. Now, with that said, I do find it, like, when it's and it's guys that are not like CM Punk, I understand. People are like, oh, it's disrespectful. Fuck you, be better. The part where I start questioning it is when it's actually people that wrestle like CM Punk or the style you want, and you're still chanting it. So I'm kind of on the fence about it, but as far as no one should chant his name, fuck you. They chant it forever. I think CM Punk's legends can go on forever, but the weird part is when you are chanting it, do it as a sign of disrespect to what you are in the ring. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, fucking, I want Dolph Ziggler to be a fucking champ, and I want Dolph Ziggler to be pushed. I'll chant CM Punk. And it's kind of a weird situation. People are joining us right now. I don't know who. Oh, I think they're both in here. Rob, welcome to Stump the Idiot. Boom Boom, welcome to Stump the Idiot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boom Boom has arrived. Courtesy of KocoSports.com. That's KOCOSports.com. Now, see, I was naked in a beanbag eating Cheetos, and then I was happy to be browsing through, checking out our sister site, SoreDog.com, trying to catch up on the latest about the upcoming debut of the Flash series and Season 3 of Arrow. Then I ventured over to KocoSports.com. I'm eagerly anticipating the arrival of a guest editorial that I read from a member of the Internet Infantry by Zachary Watts. As soon as we get it posted, we'll put a link on it here on the site. I encourage everybody to read it. So I hate that I missed out on the show. I wish Dave would have informed me earlier, but hey, I'm here, and that's all that matters. So what's up, Dave? And Rob, good to see you again, buddy. How the hell are you?
I'm good, but I'm wondering, how big's that sponsorship check you're getting for dropping all those advertisements, man? That's pretty good. You gonna get a Pepsi logo tattooed on your arm next? That was on point.
That's what they got me for. I'm the money man here.
All right, gentlemen, I'm glad you could join us, but Stump the Idiot is all about comments, so let's get back into live comments. Market Garden basically said what I said, just a lot smoother. It's not against the CM Punk chance. I'm not against the CM Punk chance in the right places. I can't think of any off the top of my head. It's just a chant the WWE hate enough to fiddle with the sound on live shows.
It just pisses me off when they do it during AJ Lee, because they're only doing it because they know she's married to Punk. And I think it's pretty fucked up to do it to arguably the best wrestler in the Divas division. Like, let her fucking have her match. Chant Punk all you fucking... Leave her the fuck alone. That's annoying as shit.
Yeah, I think the timing has to... And you have to... for the CM Punk chance to work effectively, it has to be doing stuff that you don't like. Not just because someone's married and all that, but... Alright, Market Garden also says, most of what I consider Triple H guys have turned out way fucking better than Vince's obvious attempts. This past year we had The Shield and Wyatt's come out of NXT, but then they have no idea. Fuck you. You know what? Why do you fucking pay emotional? Bam. So we're having a G1 contest, guys. While I fix this, do you guys have a prediction of who's going to win the G1?
All of them.
Roman Reigns?
All
Ooh,
right.
I like Rob's pick.
You guys are officially idiots. Market Garden says most of what I consider Triple H guys have turned out are way better than Vince's attempt. This past year, we've had the Shield and Wyatt's come out of NXT, but then we've no idea if Fandango and Adam Rose are Triple H guys as well. And also, Triple H has made mistakes, but they're mistakes I would have made. Mystico, failed. Sin Cara, I would have made that mistake 2,800 times in a row. And Awesome Kong was kind of a mistake because of just the timing. But I would have made that mistake 20 times in a row. Grievin 64, Dave, if you're old, I must be ancient. I don't.
Maybe he's 64 years old. That's why he put 64 at the end of his name.
Maybe. I just think it's sad we have to get old. Why can't we stay young forever? Market
Good,
Garden.
but you have to sparkle.
Yeah, if we had the sparkles. Market Garden, do you think more or less people would listen to wrestling talk shows or reviews if the mainstream product wasn't so shit? Without a doubt. Boom Boom, I don't know about Rob, but Boom Boom can definitely answer this. Boom Boom, we've been doing this a long time. When wrestling is hot, everyone gets tons of viewers, and there's way more shows.
There are more shows. I mean, there's more conversations. Hell, I mean, there was websites dedicated. It was like talk radio, but for pro wrestling. It was a whole website. In fact, I remember the fucking website wars. I mean, it was like fucking, the Hatfields and the McCoys, man. You had one group of people that were on a particular website that liked that, and they supported all the guys on that fucking website. There'd be like 5, 6, 7 shows about pro wrestling on that network, and over on a separate website, there'd be like 5, 6, 7 guys talking about pro wrestling, and their fans from each website would bash the other network. And that's something I used to do when I was in college. I would, those nights when I'm wanting to go to sleep or whatever, just wanting to relax, I would just cut on one of the audios for one of those shows, pre-recorded, of course, and then just start listening to it and enjoy it, listening to all these guests. But when wrestling started going downhill, I heard a lot of people, they used the same damn line. Now, maybe it's a cop-out, but they would say, well, wrestling kind of sucks right now, and this is getting expensive, and it's really not worth it. So, you know what, I'm just going to stop doing my show. I'm going to, at the end of the month, it'll be my last show, so enjoy it. And all those guys went away. All of them.
Not only that, but I want to add one more thing. When we did it, because we're old, it cost money. Nowadays, it's way less, and technology is crazy cheap. Back in the day, having a YouTube channel, having because they didn't have YouTube back in the day, but having a video channel cost a lot of money. Having an audio cost money. Nowadays, all that is free, and there's still less shows. Mark Kingarden also goes on, see, I'm a big football fan, soccer. I only know what I learned from my 8-year-old son about soccer. But I don't bother with any of the crap for football. I get all the fighting gossip out of my system in work and in real life. Do you think if wrestling was more mainstream, less people would bother with YouTube and whatever? No, I think there'd be more. Because you got to remember, I covered mixed martial arts. And when I covered mixed martial arts, you had to explain to people what mixed martial arts were. I remember KokoSports.com, Combat Sports. We cover boxing, wrestling, and mixed martial arts. What's mixed martial arts? But now it's so mainstream. Dude, you think that slowed down YouTubers? No, there's 8 billion. I remember people panicking, calling me up in the Tampa Bay area, being like, teach me as much as you can about MMA because this shit's taking off and I want to be on the bandwagon. I
remember UFC when it first started, and I wanted nothing to do with it because basically it was like fucking blood sport. I mean, that's what it was. Basically, the Gracie set it up to prove that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was the best. So you would have like a 100-pound guy versus like a 250-pound guy with like a 6 foot, 6-inch height advantage, and it was. It was just absolutely vicious. I mean, I think the only things you couldn't do at the time was you couldn't eye gouge and you couldn't pull hair. I think that was the only 2 rules that they had. And then I remember Dana White. I don't actually remember that. I remember the one day that, all of a sudden I saw UFC and it was a little bit more cleaned up. And I was like, what in the hell's going on? That's when I realized that the Gracies had gotten out of it. Dana White had bought it and got it more organized. They put in more rules, weight classes. It was, and it just wasn't like this big blood sport that it was. So, I remember when that took off.
I think it's funny that you call UFC a blood sport, dude. I've been watching it so long. You should have seen back before they even called it MMA. Before they called it MMA, they called it No Holds Barred. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, it's popular. I think it will be more and more YouTubers doing it. So there you go. And Ewok for Mendor says, unfortunately, I will always come back to Raw, WWE. It's just very easy to watch and hope that it gets better. But it doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes it gets better, but not enough. It should be a lot better. My whole thing is everyone's like, Rob always says these theories and predictions, and we say, hey, what would be awesome? And, a lot of times people will be like, that's just fantasy booking. But here's the thing. If anyone can real-life fantasy book, it's WWE. And they still fuck that shit up. All right. Bam. You ready to go some more comments, gentlemen? I'm just going with here. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Trey Beeman, this is from... I'm just going to go right down the order. Old school Battleground review. All right? Actually, let's get... Boom, boom, you're here. If we don't have time, let's get this one out of the way, because this one was directed kind of towards you. All right, Market Garden. This is on the Raw review.
Oh, I know what this one is, so bring it on. I know what it is.
I have a Stump the Idiot question for Boom Boom. Why the historical reaction to a black faction started and just lighten up, Francis, the people questioning the Rusev angle? Without wanting to cheat the flight of the black man at the hands of us white devils, I'd say the reaction towards the clusterfuck, it could become way off when you consider how many people are dying and are dead in Eastern Europe. Between Rusev's debut in the Rumble and the real debut after Mania, he turned from both Iranian brutes and EU and NATO member states who are fighting in Iraq and Afghan war with us to the hero of the Russian Federation. Russia only fully annexed Crimea a week before. Sorry, I got really bad. I should have sent this to you before the post-Mania debut. So there's no question that WWE were taking advantage of Vince to build heat. I really need Total Glass. That's what we're learning here. Now I'm in the same camp as the racist Japanese guy on your show. Is that stereotypes and pissing people off should be part of wrestling? But why is it that we feel awkward about angry black man story and not evil Russians are trying to take over the world?
I don't see why everyone's upset about it, personally. I have the same stance on it as I do with the Russia thing. It's for entertainment. If you can get people invested in it, hell, if you can get people outside of the company talking about it, that's a win. If you want to be controversial to get more publicity, do it. Get more publicity. But everyone's assuming they're going to be a heel stable, which I think shows how racist a lot of people really are, because there's been no real indication it's going to be a heel stable at all.
Booms, you want to drive the bus? Let's direct the towards you.
Let me drive the bus on this one. First of all, I do want to thank Market Garden for this question. This is a very ballsy question. It's a good question. It really challenges me, and I do appreciate that. I understand where he's coming through with this. Let me clear up something real quick. I don't have hysteria about a black faction. What I have is, if it just turns out to be, okay, we're a bunch of we're all turning bad guys, and we're going to team up here, I don't have a problem with that. But if it's, oh, we're a bunch of, pissed off black men and make it a racially charged faction, I just said that makes me nervous, because I don't want to see somebody betrayed bad just because of the color of their skin. So I'm just saying that. Let me clear. I just want to clarify that. I have, every time there has been any kind of racially charged gimmick, it's been very awkward, uncomfortable. Originally, remember Colonel De Beers back in the AWA? He played a blatant racist, and that was just kind of uncomfortable. There was a referee. I remember there was one storyline, or wasn't a storyline, but it was a match where the referee was black and he refused to wrestle the match because he said he couldn't trust the referee, or he painted another guy yellow. Then everybody keeps bringing up the Nation of Domination, and when they for a while it was kind of militant black, and then they started, I guess they tried to add in more characters to make it ease the tension a little bit. They added in Bryan Adams and Savio Vega, and then they split them all up and they made their own individual factions, and then that got awkward because you had blacks versus Puerto Ricans versus whites, and it was just racially charged. And if somebody gets booed, I want them to be booed because they're a bad guy. I just don't want it to be like, okay, we're, you know, the stereotypical, we're going to be angry black people and you need to boo us because we're black. That is what I would have a problem with. But I understand where he's coming from when he talks about the Rusev angle. He's saying, well, why is it that Lana can bring up the down Malaysian jetliner, 295 people lost their lives in that crash, it's triggered this worldwide controversy. You know, we don't know where all the bodies are. There's worries about evidence tampering by the Russian militants. Yeah, can't you tell I work in news? And, you know, how come, you know, that doesn't offend you, but, you know, these three black guys teaming up for something that may be racially motivated, why does that make you nervous? And I honestly think that is a fair question. I know it's kind of a cop-out here, and I know I sound like I'm being a WWE spokesperson with this one, but Lana didn't straight up say the Malaysian jetliner. She said, you blame us for recent events. You know, that could, yes, that could bring, you know what, I can see, that could, you know what, you could be absolutely 100% correct. It could be the down Malaysian airliner. It could, or it could be the invasion of Crimea. It could be, you know, the president of Ukraine that was ousted and ran over to Russia, and that led to the whole invasion. You know, it could be any number of things. And what were you saying, Rob? I apologize.
I don't think I said.
I hadn't said anything.
Sorry, I thought you were trying to cut in. I understand what, you know, and I understand what you're, you know, what you're saying here, but I'm trying to watch how I charge this. You know, if this is just like, if this was done in the sense of like, if this was like WWE's version of the Bullet Club, I would be 100% behind it, because Bullet Club was somewhat racially charged, but it dropped it. They just became a regular heel faction, because Bullet Club came about it was a bunch of foreigners who said, you know what, because, you know, we're foreigners, you're not giving us a real chance, so we're going to band together and we're going to take over your company, we're going to win all your titles, we're going to run roughshod. You know, if it's something like that where it's, hey, you know what, we were the team players, we did everything you told us to, and we got nothing to show for it, so you know what, from now on, we're going to take what we want, we're going to, you know, step up, and we're going to, you know, run roughshod of your company. I'm all for that. But if it's, okay, we're a bunch of angry black people because, you know, all black people know each other, yeah, we're totally going to get together and, you know, do black things like, you know, like beat up people and come out to rap music. You know, if it's something like that, that's what I have a problem with. But not to dodge the Rusev question here. And again, that is a valid point. But they've made that so vague. So vague. It's really, it's not offensive in the sense because they made it so vague. They didn't say, if they straight up would have said, well, you blame us for downing a Malaysian airliner jet. Okay, that could be offensive. That could be controversial. But when you say, oh, you blame us for recent events, you know, we have a great leader in Vladimir Putin. And even though they haven't said anything, in your mind, in your brain, you have connected the dots. You know, you're jumping to conclusions. You know, and I think that is what works. It's like when Christopher Daniels did his religious gimmick, you know, the fallen angel. He was so generic and so vague. That's why people got so, you know, charged into it. He would just be so vague with it. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to be direct. He was so generic that your mind would put it together, because sometimes it's like in horror movies. Sometimes it's what you don't see that scares you more so than what you saw. What you thought you saw is scarier. So same thing with this with Lana and Rusev. It's what they didn't say that really offends you. I think that's kind of the difference here.
I just want to say something, Rob. I know you're a little bit of a wise ass on air, but I kind of want it. I want you to get real, Rob. If you put down your wise ass shield for 5 seconds, and I make somewhat of a living writing. I'm starting to write my own stuff, and Rob is one of my editors, and
I'm sorry.
we're working on a project together. And I really appreciate that, Rob. But I want you to put down your shield for sarcasm now. But I write a lot of controversial stuff. You know, like there are
I
people
know.
when
I know.
what's that?
I know.
Yeah. I write a lot of controversial stuff, and when people talk to me, they're like, "Oh, well, you got a good reputation as a writer, and you pushed the envelope. What are some of your ideas?" And they're always like, "Dude, you're gonna have to write that on your own. No one's touching that." So I write a lot of controversial stuff, but when I was in college, and I wish I remember the professor's name, and I apologize, he taught me one thing. It's okay for your characters to be racist. It's not okay for the writer to be racist. And I think that's where Boom Boom is a little bit worried with WWE. They have a track record of the writer being racist. A character can be racist, but I don't know if a writer can be racist. That's kind of the rule in writing controversial stuff. So, it doesn't bother me that much, but I do know, just from experience, the Shelton Benjamin storyline offended a lot of my friends, and they never came back.
Dave,
But
please,
I'm sure,
Dave, sorry, but when we're talking about this, when we're talking about blatant racism with WWE, we definitely need to specify what specifically they did with Shelton Benjamin. And also, I feel like, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I also feel like we need to bring up the Booker T angle.
I would actually like to know what happened with Shelton Benjamin because I wasn't around for that. So I'm actually legitimately curious.
all right, I'll just paraphrase it because I can go into a lot of detail about it. But they basically pulled out every racist stereotype. Triple H was the white racist, and Benjamin was the victim of his racism. And then they built it where if Triple H wins, this is the most fucking racist company in the world. Like, he was throwing out, he was throwing out grandpa racism to build up this pay-per-view for Shelton Benjamin. And the place was packed, and I was like, there's no way they built up a storyline with this much racism, and Triple H is going over. And it was Winghouse in St. Pete. You're from Florida, so you know how rowdy that place can get. And, dude, like, I didn't know what to expect, but I was with a lot of friends, and they were like, there's no way Triple H can do it after all that he did to him. Racist storylines. You know what I'm saying? And Triple H won, and I just looked around, and all my friends were like, I'm done. And they walked out calmly, and a lot of those friends to this day do not watch WWE. So you have to be careful with that. But like I said, I think if WWE didn't have a track record of being racist, and it just goes back to what my professor said, characters can be racist, writers can't be. And me, I don't think anything's off limits. And Rob, as my editor, will tell you nothing is off limits in my books.
It's very, very true. He has some that I am not a person that gets offended about. I don't want to say anything, but there's very little. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that one. That's going to piss a lot of people off. That's pretty offensive. So, yeah. But I still think it's really important to keep three things in mind with this. One, you can't keep judging them off the past. If you want them to improve, you have to give them that chance. Yes, WWE's track record has been a little bit on the racist side. Well, more than a little bit. Everything on paper makes it look like they're pretty racist. You have to give them a chance to fix that. And considering this all started popping up after they got accused of being racist, I think that's what they're actually trying to do. So with that in mind, you have to look at it again and just look at what actually happened. There's nothing to say outright that they're going to be a heel or a face faction. There's nothing on that. We've heard rumors for a while that there was going to be an angry heel faction, and I think that's why people are assuming that they're all going to be angry. and they're black, so, you know, angry black man stereotype. But I don't know. I'm personally holding out hope that it's not going to be that way, because Xavier Woods is great on the microphone. He's probably, I would say, one of the best people in TNA, or not TNA, Jesus. He's way better than anyone on TNA. One of the best people in NXT on the microphone, I think. I don't know. Dave, you might agree. Booms, you might. I don't know. I think he's great on the microphone, and if there's anyone who could pull this off, I think, and get away with making them even be a heel faction and it be okay, it's probably him. And when you mentioned the Bullet Club, it made me really think. WWE is not above stealing ideas and making them their own. I could easily see this being done similar to the Bullet Club, and they don't even have to keep it just the black guys. They could just start that way, and they could easily go and be like, hey, Sandow, hey, Ziggler, what do you guys think? Like, there's still room for it to grow. We're judging it so quickly, and people are getting up in arms and worried and paranoid over what was essentially, what, a minute? We don't know yet. Give it time. See what happens with it. I will say I'm wrong.
If it's a racially charged storyline, then yeah, it makes me nervous. And you know, I agree. You failed to mention Booker T and that whole feud. Again, this was back when Triple H was dominating the world in 2003. I'm glad those days are over with. You know, he was overcoming a lot of racism with, I think it was Evolution may have been together. No, I think this was before Evolution. But remember, they said, you know, Booker T, we're going to keep you down. You're going to be our limo driver when it's over with. And you're building, you know, they're building up this huge feud. And then, well, he lost. He lost against Triple H. And did he get a rematch, get the win, get the title? No, he never got any of that. So he, you know, and all this racially charged stuff, and he was buried. They've had a bad track record. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, I was reading a guest editorial here by Zachary Watts from the Internet Infantry. He did some research, and he said in his article, since 1963, there has been only 6 recognized WWE champions of non-Caucasian descent. And he names Yokozuna, The Rock, Eddie Guerrero, Batista, Rey Mysterio, and Alberto Del Rio. But he does mention the only unrecognized WWE champion that, again, is not Caucasian is Antonio Inoki. So since 1963, in almost 50 years, six of those champions, not a speck of white boy in them. I mean, that's not very good odds. I mean, there's been some controversial characters. Remember Finley with the leprechaun? You know, he had, you know, introduced, well, he was a little bastard at the time, but, you know, since then, Hornswoggle. You got to remember Tatanka, Kamala. Yeah, Kamala. Remember Kamala? You know, and actually, and the thing was with Kamala, I actually interviewed him back when I used to do the whole effing show. I actually asked him about that. Did he find his character racist? You know, because here he was. There was a black man, probably for like Mississippi. You know, and he's out there, you know, portraying, you know, like this wild African jungle guy. And he's like, look, they know I'm not stupid. They know I'm playing a character. Then don't forget, remember when Sergeant Slaughter turned heel and became the Iraqi sympathizer? They brought out, they changed over, it was the Iron Sheik, but they made him like Colonel Mustafa. They turned him Iranian to an Iraqi, you know. Hey, because, hey, what's the difference, right? There was that and that whole feud where Sergeant Slaughter got his only title run. The Mexicools. I mean, come on, does anybody not remember that? Juventud Guerrero, who else? Super Crazy, and who was the third guy? Help me out here. Psychosis. Remember their whole gimmick was they were challenging racial stereotypes by being racial stereotypes. The short-lived Kerwin White character that Chavo Guerrero played just before Eddie Guerrero's death. What else? Akeem, the African Dream. Remember when they turned the one-man gang that teamed up with Slick, and he became a. It was like supposed to be like a parody of Dusty Rhodes, and they did like this big ceremony in the parking lot, and it was supposed to be a white guy, but he's black, or a black guy, but he's white, whatever. Virgil, I mean, remember Ted DiBiase's lackey for better part of a decade? Kind of like the little manservant. That one was, controversial at the time. In fact, let's say, Muhammad Hassan. You gotta remember that. Remember, oh god, I think they had to get his character off WWE after 2005 because of all the world events. They tried to capitalize on it because the guy was actually half Italian, half Jordanian, and so he was portraying like an American, an Arab American wrestler.
I don't mean to cut you off, but history is not on their side. But
No,
I just want to do more questions and wrap this bad boy up. Sorry about that, pal.
I do.
No, that's fine. I know.
I do think you guys have to be fair. Like, give them a chance. Most of those racist things happened before they were a publicly traded company, and if anything, they do seriously hint that Vince McMahon is probably extremely racist. Which, I don't know. I have faith that it'll turn out okay.
All right, so I just want to answer a few more questions, and we got to wrap this up because I got to head out. Brandon Mauld says, "Will there just yes or no? Will WWE eventually let a black person be a big champion? Yes, no."
Yes.
I think yes. And not only that, but even like nowadays, so many people are progressive. Even Marvel and everything is changing. So I say yes.
Yeah, they made Captain America black, and they're going to make Thor a woman. So. That's
Maybe Spider-Man Black.
Yeah. Well, in that particular universe, yeah. So, and I agree with Rob 100%. A lot of this shit was done before they were this public traded company, before they were PG. I think they have a chance now to, I don't want to say redeem themselves, but do the right thing. So. Who knows? And besides, I think the last thing they want to do is generate any more controversy. At least in that regard.
All right, and here we go. Keep rocking in some of these questions. Keep the live questions coming in. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, Hall of Fame. Who do you think should be this year's Hall of Fame?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Lighten up the mood a little bit.
Yeah, we really need that. Well, I definitely think, I don't know if they'll go in this year, but I think the Fabulous Freebirds need to go in. You've already got the Von Erich family. They were a very essential part of world-class championship wrestling. Let's see here. Who else should go? Well, I think it's too early. Well, you know what? I think it'd be the perfect time to do it. Undertaker, he needs to go in. I think he's done. I don't care what anybody says. I think he is done, and I think it's his time. He needs to go ahead and go on in. He's been a key part of the WWE. He was a key part of the Monday Night Wars. As far as other, let's see here. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head with women. What about Wendy Richter? I don't know if she's in.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to look that up.
Wendy Richter could be one.
One thing that, I guess the new WWE is doing, they're doing a lot of rights and wrongs, because, obviously you have Macho Man, Owen Hart, which I think will be a challenge, but the list of, oh my god,
they'll get Macho Man before they get Owen Hart. I promise you.
Which is heartbreaking to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Macho, but fuck, I loved Owen Hart.
Well, it's not necessarily that they don't want to put Owen Hart in. It's just that, you know what, Owen Hart's widow is still pretty fucking mad at him because, they killed her fucking husband for a stupid gimmick.
Yeah, so,
So, I mean, if you induct, I guarantee you're going to have to wait a really, really long time. And that's because Owen Hart's family, his estate, I don't think anybody wants anything to do with WWE because, you got to bear in mind, they killed him. They killed him. Remember, and it wasn't like an in-ring accident. This wasn't like he took a botched spot and died and broke his neck. No, this was, hey, he's going to be the Blue Blazer, so we're going to get a little crazy. We're going to rig him up with a harness with stuff that's not designed to hold a human being, and we're going to have him, come down from the ceiling. It fucking snapped, and he died. And that's pretty fucking stupid for something stupid. And yeah, they're going to be mad. And I think the only thing holding up Macho Man would be
Did he fuck Stephanie McMahon when she was like 16?
And would be, I think last I heard, and I don't know how true this is. I heard it was Lanny Poffo was kind of holding up the whole thing because he was wanting it to where
his whole family,
the whole Poffo family got inducted, like Angelo Poffo, the dad, him, and then Randy. I think that was the last I heard. That was the only thing really holding it up.
Well, locally in Tampa, that gives them a lot of heat. I don't know. I hope they get Macho Man in. But Lenny Poffo is showing up on WWE DVDs, and that's kind of the sign that I think it's going to happen. I think this is Macho Man's year. I'm not going to say it's a lock or anything, but I think it's Macho Man's year this year. All right, and hook and shoot. I got up for work on Monday night, and the first thing I hear when I turn on Raw is that Stephanie McMahon was arrested. I thought to myself, can I have 2 more wishes, Jesus? And let's see, any more live comments?
Well, I want to add on that. Have you guys seen that, like, they've been releasing articles about her reactions after she got out and after Triple H bailed her out and everything? They are really fucking selling it. Like, they are trying really hard to sell that she was actually arrested.
All right. And Schooly Rules says, what about Tito Santana, former WWE champion? I don't remember Tito Santana ever winning. Is that true? Wikipedia. So, but I don't know. Holmes listed off 800 people. He might have just missed one, but I don't know.
I don't think Tito Santana character. I don't think his character was racist at all. Maybe you could make some arguments with the El Matador, but for the most part, he was a fan favorite. I mean, the same thing with Ricky Steamboat. Yeah, it was somewhat, stereotypical for their ethnicities, but for the most part, they were good guys. They were portrayed in a very positive light. I know they did a Survivor Series one year where it was Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, and Tito Santana. Taking on 5 other guys. And it was like, whoa, okay. And then, of course, Ricky Steamboat, my God, man, he did some of the best matches ever. Was a huge fan favorite. So I don't know if I would really call them all racist, but specifically because they were portrayed in a positive light.
A little bit off topic here is that growing up in New Jersey, all my aunts and all the adult females in my life wanted to fuck Tito Santana, and I was like, dude, I bet you that guy gets fucking tons of puss. Tons. I just remember we'd watch pay-per-views, and all the ladies would be like, "Oh, Tito Santana's on! Oh, what I would do to him!" And I'm like, you're ruining my childhood.
Come on, I've heard some of the things you've said about Lex Luger and the torture rack. I'm pretty sure that you were just telling him to be quiet because you were focused on Lex Luger.
I don't remember ever saying...
They knew that because he had that raging heart on.
Market Garden says, I ain't saying they aren't racist at all. They obviously are. It's worth saying that just as many white guys have been bullied and abused by the company over the years. Darren Young has no chance at all. And I don't know. I think times are changing. I hope.
Now, for their defense on that one, Darren Young's been sidelined with an injury. As soon as they split up the primetime players, he wound up getting hurt, so that's where he's at right now. He's recovering from injury.
Mr. the King is upset that he missed the show. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to advertise it. I was just trying to crank this out real quick, and then these guys joined, and I forgot to advertise. That's my fault.
Yes, it is.
Market Garden.
Reflect negatively upon yourself.
Market Garden said, DDP for Hall of Fame. I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I know Bobby the Brain Heenan throws him under the bus, and I know people there, but he was a huge star in WCW. He's going to be one of those absolutely horrible because the Undertaker hated the color of his shoes. I'm being sarcastic. But DDP and what he did for so many people with his yoga. And you know what? He's there.
Oh, wait a minute. Kurt Angle. If his contract...
I don't know. I think they'll wait on Kurt Angle because he's a TNA Hall of Famer. I don't think they'll put Kurt Angle in the Hall of Fame this close since he entered the TNA Hall of Fame. But then again...
And he's trying to get back into the company right now, too.
Yeah. Schoolie Rules says Owen did that spot way more than once. Yeah, he's come down from the ceiling. Booms, did you say he only did it once?
No, that's why. No, that's how he died. He came down on a harness that was not made to do what he was doing. Yes, he had practiced that spot earlier in the day, but when it came down to it, the equipment that he was using wasn't the proper equipment, and it broke. And as a result, he lost his life. And for what? What?
Yeah, I know that a lot of athletes come down from the ceiling before. I don't know if maybe Boom was describing once as in this equipment. I don't know. But, yeah. All right, Schoolie Rules also says, never mind, Tito did not win it. I heard something and I thought he did. Yeah, I don't remember him winning it at all. So, all right, well, Schoolie Rules, you corrected us. We corrected you. And that's what the conversation's all about. Schoolie Rules, thank you for the comments. Everyone in the live comments, thank you.
Just real quick, has Jim Cornette been inducted into the Hall of Fame yet?
Probably not. I doubt he'll ever.
I doubt he's going in. At least not this decade.
That's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Him, the Steiners, Jeff Jarrett. That won't happen.
Jeff Jarrett ain't going in because Jeff Jarrett was the first person that Vince McMahon fired when he got a hold of WCW. Because remember that whole incident where he basically held the Intercontinental title hostage and they had to give him like that huge fucking payout so he would job to China?
You know what? I think this
Wow.
we have a Combat Sports Hall of Fame, and there's other Hall of Fames that are not connected to the leagues. I think this is why Hall of Fame should be separate from the league. I don't think Vince McMahon being like, oh, in the fucking third grade he fucking gave me a wedgie. Now he's not.
Well, I mean, that's the complaint about the WWE Hall of Fame, and and there's arguments for every Hall of Fame but basically there's like a committee, and then there's so many like sports writers, and they make recommendations, and they do votes, and they go all these rounds and stuff. But with WWE Hall of Fame, it's basically Vince McMahon is the sole vote that gets you in or keeps you out.
And the only Hall of Fame that counts is the Coco Sports Combat Sports Hall of Fame. You can check out cocosports.net.
Yes, if you've ever done anything in combat sports, you're in it.
I just like to imagine Vince McMahon sitting there, months leading into WrestleMania, just sitting there taking phone calls and then making a little checklist. Like, yeah, he called me and said I looked very nice recently. He bought me a nice little bottle of champagne and took me out to dinner. I think he's getting in the Hall of Fame this year. Whereas you did not return my calls. You were getting a red X.
Yeah. Like he's so petty, he's watching RF video shoot interviews.
Is it bad that I really do think Vince McMahon is that petty and probably does do that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he has to be addicted a little bit. Like, they're always like, we ignore the internet. But I'm always like, I don't know. I have the personality of, like, if there's 800 people talking about what you do, it's so hard not to peek. A lot of writers are like, oh, no, never look at the critics. And I'm like, I don't know, wouldn't it be hard to peek? Like, just around the corner, like, what's going on? But, yeah, I don't know. Curiosity killed the cat. All right, Rob, we're wrapping it up. This is your stage. You have your final stage. What are you going to say when the stage is yours?
I hold the faith for WWE. I will remain the positivity light in Coco Sports podcasting. I will believe.
I just want to know how long it's going to be before you break. Booms, show them why you're the best in the business.
Exactly. I'm going to use my 15 minutes of fame to tell everybody to go to cocosports.com. That's kocosports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes mixed martial arts, boxing, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling. If you can get your nose broke doing it, man, we got you covered. I want to invite everybody to go to our blog section, Coco's Corner. We're supposed to have a guest editorial coming up pretty soon, but of course we've got all your news and gossip there on the front page, along with our popular video on demand section. So if you want to maybe check out the Nikki Bella nip slip, you can do it at cocosports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass.
All right, and I really have to go. I'm 20 minutes late, so go to cocosports.com. Booms, let's do what Rob said. Yeah, the camera's on you. With that, I am over. This is for you, Rob. You whacking it?
I am so into this.